Have people who have something mean to say about you. And for the most part, it doesn't hurt my feelings. I don't care. I just think when I'm working this hard, my tolerance gets lower. My patience is lower. I'm more sensitive. And it gets to me.
There's a culture, and I think it's something we've all noticed, a culture of a gross lack of accountability when it comes to black women holding themselves accountable or even being realistic when doing any type of self-evaluation. And don't get me wrong, I'm not talking about all black women. Every once in a while, you'll meet the 1 in 10,000 that does hold herself accountable. But besides that 1 in 10,000, this is a major issue amongst most black women. Just try this out. Find the average black woman, tell her she's doing something wrong, and watch how she crumbles. Watch how she explodes. Watch the vindictiveness. Because they've been taught, not all black women, but most of them, they've been taught that they have some type of black girl magic. Black girl magic in which they don't have to be accountable for anything. And the government supports this, whenever they have 5, 6 kids by multiple different men, the government will simply say, put the man on the hook for the child support. Or in some cases, they kill the baby. Did you know that last year, just in 2024, last year, more black babies were killed in a black woman's womb than were actually born? Isn't that amazing? More black babies were killed than black babies that were born. What does this tell you? This is not to say, hey, well, leave black women and go find you a big fat white woman. No, I'm not saying go find a big fat white woman. I'm saying this to point out a serious cultural problem that we have. Because we worship the Beyoncés, the black girl magics, and the lady that we're about to talk about in this video, there's a severe lack of accountability. That's why so many black women go around, just fat. And nobody seems to notice. Nobody seems to care. They continue to go around and be fat, bad attitudes. And, girl, you can't tell me nothing. You ain't my daddy, girl. You ain't my daddy. And I hate it. And look, I'm a man who dates nothing except for black women. You'll never find me out here with a big fat white woman or some Mexican. I don't even like burritos like that. Sometimes the Chipotle burritos are pretty good. But I mostly stick with black women, but we have a problem. This brings us to a story with Lizzo. She recently gave an interview. I think it was with the Sunday Times. And in that interview, she talks about how, you remember a couple of years ago, whenever she was charged, well, she wasn't criminally charged, but she was civilly charged. She was sued by her former dancers for creating a hostile work environment. Essentially, now they didn't say this. This is me saying this. But essentially, if you read the lawsuit, which I did read, they essentially accuse her of being a big, fat, nasty, mean, rude black woman, which is very believable if we're talking about somebody like Lizzo. Okay, the black women that are the loudest, the ones that do all the cussing and fussing and, girl, I'm big and I'm going to be in the way. Those type of women usually got the freakiest, darkest demons packed somewhere in the closet. Just hey, I've been with them before. I know. I'm not just talking. I'm not just making. I've seen it. So those allegations were very believable. And in this interview, she talks about how she was very paranoid and isolated amid sexual assault lawsuit. She says that she pushed everyone away. And in this interview, well, I guess we'll read some of it. Lizzo is opening up about her really dark time in her life, about a really dark time in her life. In the cover story with women's health. Gosh, I hate it. Why does everything women's this, women's that, women's vagina doctor, women's doctor's office, women's store, women. Oh gosh, but whatever. I'm not a sexist either. Okay, and if these places that term themselves women's magazine, women's whatever, if they were actually teaching these women how to be accountable, good, decent, loving women, I wouldn't have a problem with it. But usually, whenever you see something coded as women's whatever, it's usually called for feminist propagandistic bullshit. Nonetheless, in a cover story with Women's Health on Tuesday, July 1st, The Truth Hurts hitmaker opened up about feeling very paranoid and isolated about facing sexual assault harassment and assault allegations from her former backup dancers in August of 2023. I got very paranoid and isolated, Lizzo, 37 years old, told the publication. I used to walk into Glam and be like, oh, let me tell you about this crazy shit. This crazy shit. I don't like cussing women. I know I cuss all the time, but I can't stand a woman who cusses. It just shows poor character on a woman. Let me tell you about this crazy shit that happened last night. I couldn't do that anymore. She continued, I pushed everyone away. I wasn't even talking to my therapist. I wasn't present. I wasn't open. I wasn't myself anymore. Okay, and that's what Lizzo said. Now, why is this story important? It's because I think this shows I think this shows eventually reality is going to hit for everybody. If you're living in some type of delusion, believing that you're not fat when you really are fat, eventually that reality is going to hit you in the face. And it's going to be even more crushing. You're not going to know how to deal with it. Why? Because you've been told this entire time that you're some type of a queen. And the reason you really haven't succeeded is because of this patriarchy that nobody can see, this invisible patriarchy. That's what's holding you back. But then when reality hits you in the face and you realize, no, it's not the patriarchy. It's just the fact that I'm a bitch. They're not able to deal with it. She says in this interview that she wasn't able to talk to her therapist, which I got something to say about that. God, I hate you therapist niggas. I hate you. I hate a nigga that's going to therapy. Unless you're hearing voices or you're like 2 or 3 steps from offing yourself. I guess we'll say we don't do that censorship stuff here at Woke Progressive. Unless you're like 2 or 3 steps away from killing yourself, why do you need a therapist? If you're depressed or something, that's simply God's way of telling you you're doing something in life wrong. Are you going to church? Are you reading your Bible? Are you eating the right foods? Are you sexually harassing and creating a hostile work environment, Lizzo? Because usually when you're depressed, that's your body's natural way of saying, hey, fix this. I don't like it. We're not living in tune with who we really are. Please stop being gay. Why do you think the suicide rate amongst transgenders is so high? Well, they've created this big lie. And their body is saying, man, why are you cutting the dick off? Stop, don't cut me off, please stop. And then they'll get the scissors and go, shring. The dick is out there, they cut the balls out, shring. Oh, no, man, this is lifetime depression. Just kill yourself at this point. You're not a man no more. Yeah. Lizzo says that she eventually ended up going to a Beyonce concert. And she felt better after the Beyonce concert. Jesus Christ, these bitches and Beyonce. Beyonce going on a Renaissance tour. I remember, and I'm going to say this and then I'm going to close. A woman actually stopped talking to me once because I told her, I said, she kept talking about Beyonce. And we went out to dinner and she was sitting on the other side of the table. She went to a Beyonce concert. And the first time she mentioned the Beyonce concert, I'm like, okay, cool, whatever. And she could tell I wasn't interested. And then she mentioned Beyonce again. I was like, okay, whatever. Then she mentioned Beyonce the third time. I'm like, okay. And by this time I was visibly upset, but I wasn't saying anything because I could tell it's something she really cared about. And I didn't want to be an asshole. Then we got to Chili's, and about the fourth time she mentioned Beyonce, I said, "Look here, bitch. If you mention Beyonce in that damn concert one more time, I'm gonna personally get this plate of salsa and throw it in your face. Don't you say nothing about Beyonce no more, bitch. I'm tired of hearing about it." And she did block my number after that and leave the store. But I'm saying all that to say that Beyonce and this culture that people like Lizzo prop up that tells black women, girl, you can't do no wrong. Can't no man tell you nothing. It creates these patterns of delusions. These patterns of delusions where when reality hits you in the face, the lawsuits hit you in the face, they're not able to cope with it and they shut down. They have to go to a therapist that's going to lie to them. That's all a therapist does. That's why I say, don't tell me nothing about no damn therapy. I say, I really felt better going to a therapist. I bet your black ass did feel better going to the therapist. Therapists don't tell you the truth, okay? Because if I would let me be your therapist, because what I would tell Lizzo, I would say, look here, baby, stop eating so damn much. Get on a diet of salad. Take you some supplements, and stop being so damn nasty. Stop going to them clubs every weekend, drinking all them calories, and ain't doing nothing but making you bigger and fatter. And one day reality is going to hit you in the face. But a therapist is going to say, oh, no, there's nothing wrong. You're just a big-boned woman. You're just a big-boned woman. No, that's not what somebody like Lizzo needs. Nonetheless, that's what this video is about. She gave that interview, still showing a lack of accountability. In the interview, you could tell all she was doing was trying to garner sympathy, but she's never going to get sympathy from woke progressive because I believe in the truth. I'm the only one telling the truth, and I'll continue to do that. Nonetheless, let me know what you think about this video in the comment section, and remember to like, subscribe, share, and as always, stay woke.
In a world that's changing, I'm just trying to keep it true. Woke progressive on the screen, bringing light to what is new. Some folks don't get it.